Hey, y'all. I know most of y'all are probably just getting off work or still at work. So I figure that most of you, if any of you won't be able to join in. Um, so I just wanted to come on and talk for a few minutes because I had been mentioning, oh, choose your philosophy, choose your philosophy. So I decided I would share a few of the more popular philosophies in video. And I'm doing it just kind of early so that one, I don't forget about it. Two is Friday night, so people probably aren't going to be on Facebook chilling later on anyway. And three, I have time now because I left work early. So the one I'm going to talk about first is Dave Ramsey, and that's mainly because that's the one I'm doing, and I have the most information about it right offhand. So how everybody's I'm sure heard of Dave Ramsey. He's pretty popular, and I had mentioned before that I had started his snowball method years ago and failed. So this time I decided to listen to Total Money Makeover on Audible, and kind of got a better idea of the why and how of the philosophy to be able to better use it. So Dave Ramsey's base of his philosophy is that you need to have a radical mindset shift to pay off debt, and then you can live your life by cash. You don't need to use credit whatsoever. He mentions things like what people think they need, car payments for to get a loan for a car payment, but he's saying like you can start off with a cheaper car and save what the average car payment is, like $400 something, save that for a few months and get a car that's $2,000, then save it up again for a few more months and then get you a $4,000 car, then save it up and then get you an $8,000 car, which are going to probably be worth more than that value, because when you walk in a place with cash, you get more bang for your buck. I bought my first car with cash, $8,000 actually, and it was listed on their website for about 15. It was on sale that weekend for 12.5, but because I had cash, I was able to wiggle them down to 8,000. So he gives you that philosophy to use cash for things. He isn't too big on credit and credit scores. So some people, in order to get everything together, their credit score may tank. But he's saying if you don't have any debt and you have everything else in your life paid off, that you will still be able to do things like get a mortgage if you have an underwriter who knows how to do their job. And excuse me, but this is why it is radical. It is taking every single penny you have and paying it towards debt, getting extra jobs if you need them to pay towards debt. Most people think that, oh, when I make more money, I will be fine. And that's not generally the case. You have to start being a good steward over the amount you make now, so that when you do make more, you don't spend it frivolously. I'm sure most of us can attest that we've all had that thought that when I make more money, it will be fine. But we get to a point where we get more bills, more money, more problems, more things come up. You have to expense more things. Just, it doesn't work if you don't have something in place. And so that's why Dave Ramsey is like, you have to be extreme. There's some doctors who have been on his program who went to deliver pizzas on the side just to get extra money because they had upped their expenses so much that even in their salary, they didn't have the extra to start paying down the debt in the way that they needed to. So Dave Ramsey breaks this down into 7 baby steps. And the baby step number 1 is to save $1,000 in an emergency fund. If you do not have $1,000, that is the first thing you do. You save that $1,000. If you make under $20,000 a year, you save $500. The next step is to pay down your debt using the debt snowball method. And when you use the debt snowball method, you're putting every extra penny you have towards your debt. You're paying the minimum on all the cards except for the one that's snowballing, and putting the extra you used to pay towards those cards plus any extra you have in your income towards the first debt, and you pay it off. And then you roll those payments into the next, and so on and so forth. And I'll do another video about the snowball method. The next step is to save 3 to 6 months of expenses for emergency. So this is the step where you save that 3 to 6 month expense fund once you've paid off all your debt. And just also to go back, in that snowball, your mortgage isn't counted in that. So if you have a mortgage, you treat it differently. And this is also kind of how I'm treating my student loans now, but I'll get back to that in a second. Baby step number 4 would then be to invest 15% of your household income into Roth IRAs and pre-tax retirement funds, because apparently you can save up way more in those towards your retirement than you can just by only contributing to your retirement at work. Then you save for your children's college funds, you pay off your home early, and then the last one is build wealth and give. It's the last step. And so a lot of people get kind of caught up with all the steps, thinking that they have to do them all at once. But the key is one at a time. It's a step. You start jumping steps, you miss something, you hurt yourself. So you want to take each step one at a time. You put your intense focus on one, saving the $1,000. Then when that's done, you put your intense focus on paying down the debt. Then you put your intense focus on saving up to 3 to 6 month emergency fund. And that all kind of rolls into each other and ties into each other, because how I'm doing my debt snowball, by the time I get to my last card, I'll be throwing over $1,000 in payments towards that card. I think only just once before it's paid off, maybe twice, when I calculate in interest. And then the next few months after that, I can throw that money straight, those $1,000 some odd dollars, into an emergency fund and build that up to 3 to 6 months worth of base expenses in probably half the time. So I could probably save the 6 months in 3 months or something like that, because I won't have all the money going out for credit cards and stuff. So all of that will get saved. Hopefully I would have increased my income by that time in various ways, so I'll have more money to throw, as well as cutting just unnecessary expenses as well. And then I haven't really thought about the other stuff. So this is the Dave Ramsey philosophy. And like I said, this is the philosophy I chose. And it's not good to choose multiple philosophies. But what I say you can do is take one philosophy and kind of tweak it best to your needs. Because once you're in 2 different philosophies, way too much stuff is going to conflict. However, if you take Dave Ramsey's philosophy and you tweak a couple things that fit you, but that's your general philosophy, it may be the West philosophy, but you're sticking to a philosophy. And that is what gets you the results that you actually need. The ways that I'm tweaking it is I'm currently treating my student loan debt, because it is such an enormous amount. It's a mortgage amount, like it is a mortgage. And so I will handle that probably after I've saved the 3 to 6 months plan. So I'll pay off my credit card debt in total. Then I'll save the 3 to 6 months for my emergency fund. And then I'll go back to tackling the student loan debt after I kind of do an analysis to see how long I'll be going before it can get forgiven under the student loan forgiveness program. If that still survives, pray saints that it still survives. And I'm also not against credit totally, because I run a business. I will probably keep a card that I will pay bills on, and then pay them off immediately. Like I'll charge for the bill and I'll send that amount to the card at the exact same time so that I can build the credit up for my business, as well as earn airline miles, because I want to be able to fly and take vacations and go visit my family when I want to for free. So those are the kind of ways that I have tweaked the philosophy. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention, Dave Ramsey says that if possible, you stop contributing to your retirement right now, which I know is super scary for some people. And if you have a long pathway to paying off your debt, and if it includes student loans, I would say think about treating the student loans like I do, to not contribute while you're paying off your debt. That doesn't work for me. One, because my job requires contribution, and two, because I have an illness. So I'm not going to make that fund deficit and deplete it, and not build it up when, in case of a real emergency, I can pull that money, because I don't know what's going on with my illness. I need to keep certain things. So that's kind of a fallback for me that I'm not willing to let go, just because I have a circumstance that is uncontrollable. So still, it is the Dave Ramsey philosophy, and I'm following it as much as my life allows me to. It is the philosophy I'm sticking to, and it's the philosophy that I'm editing to work for my life. So next, I'm going to go over probably Susie Orman, to discuss how she talks about this. And if you have any other ones that you want me to just come on and talk about, let me know. And remember to choose your philosophy is really the first step before you even start saving or paying off stuff, because you need to have a course to follow. So I will talk to you guys later. See you in the group, and hopefully catch up on this video. Bye.